We're joined by the Australian Resources and Energy Minister Martin Ferguson. Thank you so much for joining us here on the show. In terms of your biggest concern, how concerned are you that the Aussie dollar will continue to remain strong and will just get even stronger?
Obviously, the Australian dollar is exceptionally strong at the moment. It clearly has an impact, for example, on manufacturing and tourism industries. But alternatively, I must say, the Australian economy is very well positioned at the moment. We've got a wealth of investment, especially in our resource and energy areas, and I suppose we're almost at a point by which we're going to have to very carefully manage the migration program because of emerging skilled shortages in Australia.
Are you concerned, like some economists are, that actually we're going to see the bubble in China bursting and with it demand for a lot of your commodities?
Look, as the BHP CEO Marius Kloppers said in China just yesterday, obviously we expect growth to continue in China, but our challenge at the moment is to actually manage, I suppose, this huge investment pipeline into Australia, and in doing so to smooth out the opportunities that actually exist. And we've got a wealth of opportunities, especially in commodities such as iron ore, coal, LNG and uranium. And we've got to make sure that we manage the investment so as to make sure
Ferguson,
we maintain the strength of our economy and especially jobs.
Sure. Do you have, though, any prediction on how much demand for the commodities will grow over the next part of, the end of this year, but also next year, because China will continue growing? Or is there a real risk that China will grow so much less because of everything they're putting in place that will have an impact on how much commodities they're asking from Australia?
Look, in the foreseeable future for the next couple of years, there's obviously opportunities for expansion. But we've also got substantial investment in Australia at the moment in capacity. That means at a point, say to 3 to 5 years' time, potentially going to even out supply and demand, which could over time have an impact on the growth in commodity prices that has occurred.
To the downside? Minister, it will have an effect. I'm just trying to understand exactly your thought. You think it will have an effect to the downside, that commodity prices risk actually going lower in the next couple of years?
No, I actually think the growth in commodity prices is going to maintain itself, but at the same time, there is substantial investment in new capacity. That means at a point in the future, on the most important commodities such as iron ore and coal, you'll get an evening out of supply and demand, and therefore you will not get the substantial growth we're actually achieving commodity prices at this point in time.
Right.
But for the foreseeable future, and this is the view of the major resource companies, we are going to see ongoing, good commodity prices for Australia.
Right. Talk to me about the mining tax. How does the high Australian dollar actually affect the proceeds that you receive from the mining tax?
Look, the budget's just over a fortnight ago, and the Treasurer will be having something to say in terms of the forward estimates. But I'm confident that the mining tax will be passed by the Commonwealth Parliament as the support largely of the mining and petroleum sectors at the moment. It only applies to 3 commodities: coal, iron ore and petroleum. And through a detailed process of consultation, we've now got a large degree of agreement in terms of the mining industry in Australia on that proposed profits-based tax.
In terms of your forecast and the way you see, of course, the economy for Australia, is there a perfect balance that you would see in terms of, price level for the foreign exchange? Is there a level that you want to see the Aussie dollar at?
Look, it's not for me to be making predictions on where the dollar may or may not be in the future. It's a strong dollar at the moment. We've also got a strong economy. Yes, it has an impact on some sectors such as tourism and manufacturing. Alternatively, we're in a position as an economy to actually soap up areas of where we're challenged in employment because of difficulties in tourism through the mining and petroleum sectors, and that's what we're seeking to do in places such as Queensland and Tasmania.
All right, Minister Ferguson, thank you so much for joining us today.